Hello, good evening, this is Diecast Looney. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of Friday Night Customs. And this week, I'm not going to be doing a custom per se. I'm actually going to be addressing some stuff about wheel swaps and looking at and showing some of the techniques on how I do wheel swaps. And the reason I'm doing this video is because I've had a few people in the past ask me if I would show how I do some of my customs and some of my wheel swaps, and I used to do that when I first started, but I don't do them very often anymore because if I'm completely honest, I don't really like doing it. I'd rather just work on something and show what I've worked on. But what's inspired me to do it for this week's episode is because of Gary from Gary's Diecast collection. He's been doing some wheel swaps. I think he was doing a wheel swap on one of the ultra hot Al Caminos, I believe, and he was in one of the videos he basically asked or said which wheels would look good, give your opinion, drop a comment. And when it came to the wheels that he selected or the wheels that won, he was basically asking at the end of the video about techniques to trimming the axles down. So I as a few others did, gave him some pointers in the comments on how you can do it, and I just thought, why not just make a video showing some of the ways I do it. So anyway, I'm sorry for all those out there who can customize and wheel swap. So this is probably not for you, but it is for the people like that haven't or want to start doing wheel swaps. So enough of the chat. Let's get into it. So what I'm basically going to be doing is this. So let's put the camera down slightly and get a bit of zoom. So I've picked this casting for the wheel swap. This is a Matchbox Cadillac. Let's have a little look. It is the CT5V. So I've already pre-drilled it, so I wasn't going to bore you all with the drilling. But basically, I've got a set of wheels picked out for this, which I'm going to do the wheel swap. I'm going to put these on. So basically, when I do wheel swaps, or even if it's customs, and my camera is, there you go, sorry about that, I always try and find the perfect set of wheels that not only look good for the car, but they also will fit the car. I like when I prefer it when my wheels are intact. Now these, I haven't particularly measured them, but they look like they should go on without too much trouble. Might be a little bit of play in the axles, but nothing I can't live with. So they'll be what I'll be putting on the car at the end. But anyway, let's take it apart and pop off the original wheels. Now I don't throw any wheels away. I have a great big box that I have got. I'm not going to show on camera, but I've got a massive box, and it is absolutely stacked full of all different sorts of mainline wheels, bits and pieces, real riders. But I also have a little tray that I have next to my desk, and it's just got loads of bits and bobs, and they're always handy to have bits and pieces, because when you not only to pick a set of wheels that you might like, but you can always utilize the axles for other custom pieces. Like you can use them for gear sticks, you chop it down a little bit and you've got a perfect little gear stick. Or as you'll see in a minute, what I do with the axles that are spare, so nothing gets wasted. But anyway, so one of the first things I'm going to do is basically show what I would do. Say I wanted to put these wheels on and they're not wide enough. So the first thing I'm going to do is open up the little gap here, just so I can just make it a little bit bigger gap there. So quick and dirty. Usually I take a little bit more time than this, but obviously I don't want the video to be going on for too long. So let's just say these wheels don't fit, which they do fit, but as you can see, actual fact, they are a little bit sloppy, a little bit of slop there. So the first technique you can do is, if I just get my pliers, which, where have I put my pliers to? Right, I haven't got my pliers, that's good. I've got my painting pliers, but these will do the same thing. So basically you just remove the end piece, and be careful it doesn't, you can wear glasses or just hold your hand over because obviously that bit can fly off and you don't want it to fly off into your face or anywhere else. So now obviously the wheels are loose, as you can see, and then what you can do is you chop it down to the desired length that you want to get rid of that slop. Always measure twice, cut once, but if you do muck up and you cut it too short, that's why you have the box of spares, so you can get another axle and start again. So anyway, it's let's say it's at the desired length. Push the wheel on, and then you get your pair of pliers, and I'll try and do this on camera, these aren't the best pliers to use, but all you want to basically do is give it a little bit of light pressure. You don't want to give it too much. Let's see if it's worked. And there you go. It's on. It's secure. It's still spinning. And you just want to crimp the end. You don't want to cut too hard. So let's see if it fits in place. And there we go. It's on. Okay. So and like I said, if you don't want to crush too hard, because you'll just cut through the axle. So you just want a light bit of pressure, and there you go. And I'm pulling quite hard. The wheel is on. So that's the first technique you can use, quick and easy. So you shorten your axle down, and then you just crimp on the end. You can see that. Get a bit extra zoom on it. So there you go. It's just crimped at the end. I think I double crimped it actually, because I couldn't quite see where I was. So that's the first technique. So basically, cut the wheels down, crimp the end. All right. The second technique you can use, so we'll pull that off, because I can pull it off obviously, but the second technique you can do is, where is it? Right on back. Right, I just wanted to get my glue. So the second thing you can do is you can glue. If you haven't got pliers to crimp, so what I'll do a little bit of glue off camera very quickly, so I don't want to put too much. You want a little spot of glue on the axle. Now see if I can get this to show. I've got a little spot of glue on the axle. Right, probably a little bit too much actually. So we'll just wipe a little bit of that off. Just bear with me. So I had a bit of paper to one side. So as you can see, I've not got a lot of glue there. Basically, you push the wheel on. There we go. Get it where you want it, and then obviously let it have the appropriate drying time. And I said, this is quick and dirty. I'm obviously not taking my time, but that will glue into place. If you don't like the fact that it doesn't spin, it spins freely on one side and not the other, you can move that down, put a dab of glue there, pull it on, and the whole thing will rotate like a solid axle. But if we just show it on the car again, or on the base, it does still spin. So that's another way, is you can glue it, so you can crimp it, or a very little spot of glue. That's something else I've quite often done. The last thing I sometimes do, as the video is going on a little bit, so say I wanted to put on a set of wheels like this, and they are quite narrow, and obviously, you know, not going to fit. So not all the time is it you're cutting wheels down to fit. Sometimes you're making wheels bigger to fit. So you can, now this isn't the same wheels, but it's just a technique I wanted to show. You can cut an axle in half, and you can put the axles into the desired wheels, or cut an axle in half, and then again you put a spot of glue on the end of the axle, and you just hold it there for 20 or 30 seconds, and then when it's hard enough to let go, you can glue the other one into place for 20 or 30 seconds, and then leave it for about 20 minutes, and when you come back, you've got the wheels, they're glued into place. So basically what you're doing is you're splitting the axles in half and gluing them on the car. I've done that before. I'm not going to glue these into place because I just wanted to show that it's another technique you can do. It's a bit more fiddly when you split the axles in half, but it's something that I have done before. many times in the past. And also another thing you can do is you can buy tubing. I don't have any here unfortunately to show, but you can buy tubing, which I've forgotten as well because I had some and I've used it all. But you can buy tubing that is the right diameter, a little bit bigger obviously than the standard Hot Wheels and Matchbox axles, and all you would do is you would file out a slight groove there big enough to receive the piece of tube. You'd cut the tube to the desired length for the space of the wheels, and then basically you'd glue the tube, or better still, glue the end of the axle there, put a little bit of glue on and push it into the tube, let it go hard, glue this side, push it into the tube, let it go hard, and then you glue the tubing itself into where you've made the groove for it to fit. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people do the tube effect, so to speak, whatever you want to call it. I have done, but I haven't got any tube at the moment. So anyway, so that is sort of 3 or 4 different ways of doing wheel swaps. Obviously you can cut the axles, you can crimp the axles, you can glue the axles, or glue the wheel on. The easiest way is the crimping. It's quick and easy because all you do is you cut the axle to the length that you want, and the same with if you want to extend the wheels. So say you want something that these ain't wide enough but you want these wheels, again you can just nip off the end, find an axle that's the right length, cut it to length, crimp the end. The reason I was showing these is just because sometimes that is another trick you can do, or it's something I've used, but I don't use it very much anymore. Because to be perfectly honest, if you've got plenty of axles hanging around, like I've shown you in the spares pile, then really there's no reason to cut the axles, because you can just cut an axle to the length you want and then crimp or glue the end. I don't recommend it. I have before been quite fussy with a wheel, and actually this is a good example of something that I had to shorten the wheels on. I shortened the wheels on, as you can see they spin, but I actually cut off the end pieces and glued them into place. So these wheels, I can't remember which one it is now, it might be this one, is actually just crimped on the end. Sorry, it's glued. Both the wheels are glued onto a Hot Wheels axle, and I actually managed to glue in an end piece to make it look like it's not been cut, because I'm quite fussy. And so that's what I did with these axles. As you can see, the wheels do rotate, but they don't actually spin freely on either end. But they are cut axles I've made to my own length, and then because I'm fussy, I've actually glued in an end cap on the ones where it had been cut off and cut to length. But that is quite fiddly. That's just me. Here's an example of wheels that have been glued. So as you can see, the end caps are missing, but these have been, obviously I've made the axles to the length I wanted, because these wheels were too narrow, so I had to put on bigger axles, and then I've glued them. As you can see, this side it does have the ends of the axles, and obviously that's acceptable. I don't mind, looks good. And this is another one that is a hodgepodge. So I think this one's an original Hot Wheels axle on the back, and then on the front I think it's a green light axle and some M2 wheels. No, it's not, I tell a lie, it's a Hot Wheels axle on M2 wheels, cut and glued. So like I said, I'm no master at it. I'm not professing that my ways are the best. Any way is the best if it works for you. So anyway, it's getting toward the end of the video now. It has gone long enough. I actually wanted to make an 8-minute video, not this long, but we will stick in these wheels. These are a little bit long, but I'm not too fussed like that. As you can see, when on the car, it doesn't look too bad. Where's the glass? There's the glass. I'll just quickly slap this back together for now. Like that. So there it is. Vast improvement. And I'm going to go back in and I'm going to clean up these and paint the ends, because I always like to put a bit of black pen on the ends. There it is. So you can see the axles are still poking out a little bit, but Actually, they're poking out quite a lot. So see, even I've messed up at the end. I thought these wheels by eye were perfect, but as you can see, they're not. And that camera's not liking it. But no problem. Right, so anyway, that's the end of that. It's gone on for long enough. Please like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned for more unboxing videos. Vintage Matchbox Mondays episodes, Wednesdays Brain Switched Off, Movie Car Mania, and Friday Night Customs. I hope you found this video not too boring and a bit helpful. This video is mainly aimed at people that obviously are just starting to get into wheel swaps, and I apologise to anybody else that obviously already knows. There's lots of talented people out there, but with that, I'll see you all very soon. Thank you for watching. Here I am back again. I thought why not finish the car off. So basically they're all shortened now, and that's the right length. It still spins nice, still rolls nice, as you can see. And all I did was took off the ends, cut the axles to the desired length, and then just crimp them, and they're on. So it still rolls quite nice. So quick and easy. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you soon.